Alright guys, Supreme Kami here, and today I'm just going to be doing a little bit of a pros and cons about the SDG generation Eternal here. So as for the beta, it's been out probably, I want to say, closing into 6 or 7 day already, and I have pretty good, kind of, went in deep to see what I can actually do with the game, doing some summonings, playing through the storyline, trying to see if I can do any upgrading, etc. So this is probably going to be initially how I feel about it, and then these are just going to be my pros and cons. So this may not apply to everyone directly, but these are just kind of my findings, and then I just want to share with you guys here. So let's actually do start out with the pros. As for the pros, I think there are definitely a few pointers that I do want to touch bases on. So let's actually get started with the very first one. As for my first, pros about this game, the storyline is a very straightforward. I'll definitely say it's a very linear one as well. It just did a fairly good job into touching the basis of each individual of the Gundam's, series over here. We do only have 3 currently available for the beta. We have the original, the OG Gundam series. We have the Thunderbolt. I'm not really sure why they choose that one. They could have probably chosen something that's a little bit more, let's say, popular. Let's say your Iron Blood Orphans, but they didn't. They went ahead and choose Thunderbolt. That's it's definitely fine. There's definitely nothing wrong with that. And then last but not least, we do have the Gundam Seed, which I think definitely has a fairly good fan base, so that's not bad. Not to mention, they do have a pretty good amount of, let's say, currency you can form up to do some summoning, so that's always going to be good. As far as the objective or those like the gameplay itself is, fairly straightforward as well. You can do it in auto. If you don't want to get nitty gritty into the overall gameplay itself, you just want your the AI to kind of do it for you. Do all those, let's say, self placement. It's gonna be doing all that for you. But if you want to get in depth into the overall gameplay itself, you want to be able to, let's say, just maneuver around the maps however you like, using the whatever attacks you want to be using. That's certainly fine, because at the end of the day, this is more or less like a more strategic game. It's like, from what I learned, it's like how to manage your energy. That was probably the biggest part, because if I recall, there's one mission specifically I lost because all my unit depleted all their energy. So at the end of the day, I'm just kind of waiting for my enemy to just deplete. I don't have any more energy, so I was like, what do I do? So as far as, let's say, doing it yourself, like going manually, I guess it's more like it's like learning. All right, what kind of attacks I need in order to just completely deplete my enemy HP, and that's it. Don't try to go fancy and trying to go for the overkill, because that's not really necessarily in a sense, because you will be at the end of the day just wasting those energy, and it's pretty much trying to enjoy the game overall. I did some in auto, obviously, just because I didn't have the time to sit there. The auto, in my personal say, did take a minute, so but it's good. It's definitely good that they have it in auto, so you don't have to always do it manually. As for the unit itself, I do find that the customization is actually quite good itself. Because if I recall from the development notes per se, there's this to say that you want to make a specific unit, you can definitely go in all ham on that specific unit and do all types of different upgrading and etc. Because this is only the beta. We haven't really got a lot of capital. We haven't really had, just me personally, I didn't really have that much time to, let's say, grind out all those capital, because there, as far as the shop where you can buy all those material, I didn't have the capital or some of the other resources to kind of clean them out on a daily basis, which that in my opinion, as the game does release globally, after the beta, when they make the adjustment, for example, I think it should be easier to access those specific requirement, or not those specific material, maybe via some storyline, some event content, or whatever they gotta do. But initially, right now, I would definitely say it does have a good customization, but in terms of, let's say, the upgrading fee, all those specific requirement material, it is a little bit scarce at the moment. It's just not gonna be really applicable in terms of what I needed to do, for example. As for the development part of it, that is definitely going to be another pros that I want to touch bases as well. Just because I have been going through all those tabs, and you are able to buy unit. Don't get me wrong. I like kind of mentioned early on, capital wise right now, it is hard to attain. Just being it's early on in the game. there's just not a lot of things to do, and I didn't want to spend too much time into forming specific missions and etc. But you are able to buy your own specific mobile suit, for example. But I didn't really find ways to kind of, let's say, there's also like you can specific blueprint you can go in ahead and kind of kind of farm as well to kind of make the unit. I wasn't able to do that part as well just because of the time constraint and then the amount of resources that you need. I believe you need all those prerequisite units in order to make it. So as far as trying to get all those like top tier unit at the moment, it's pretty much not going to be able to kind of just self generate in a kind of sense. As for the last pros I want to give is they have a skip function. My guys, let me tell you how important the skip function is for a mobile game, because let's say you're gonna be on the go, right? You just want to be able to, within maybe you have like a few minutes of a window to just kind of hop into the game, log in for your daily bonuses or whatever, and skip function allow you to instantly, maybe under a minute or two, kind of do all your dailies, and that's it. Maybe you want to play it later on, that's definitely fine, but having that skip function is definitely really important. But currently, as for the beta, we're not able to access it, but I'm glad that they do have it right in there, so that was definitely really good. All right, so as for my cons, so as far as the cons or the negative, what I found about this game is really simple. Battery. Me personally, I use the iPhone 11 Pro, so it's not really the newest phone in the market nowadays. So, but I still consider it to be really it's still a pretty good, respectable phone that has some pretty good battery life, for example. But this game does not. I played this game unplugged. I didn't plug it into a charger whatsoever. I probably went from beginning of the morning, let's say 100%. Obviously, I probably went down to maybe like 80 to 70 within a few good 10 to 20 or even 30 minutes of gameplay. I'm just like, what is going on? If I want to compare this to like another mobile game, a Gundam mobile game that I've been playing, the Gundam Breaker Mobile, I probably had the game grinding for like an hour or two, no battery issue. I wouldn't even like my phone wouldn't even be hot or etc. So I don't know in what ways they can fix that. I really do not know, because I do know that not a lot of people will have those top tier phones. Not a lot of people will have like those iPhone 14s, iPhone 13s, or even like those top tier Samsungs, or even those other Android phones. So how would the developer combat this kind of the battery straining? This battery is definitely going to be a problem, because keep that in mind, this is a mobile game. People won't be able to access to a charger, or even like I wouldn't even want to bring a portable charger with me on the go just to play the game. That would definitely defeat the purpose of this being a handy dandy G generation game. So as far as that goes, that is probably like my biggest con. So you guys can definitely let me know what is your con. And some other cons I would definitely say is not really something of a con, I guess. It's just the fact that in terms of the resource grinding at this point in time, it is a little bit scarce, and I'm just not able to, let's say, do a lot of customization, doing a lot of those developments, because in order to kind of get increased stars, for example, you need some other specific material. I'm not able to get that for the time being, so that's kind of it. But yeah, overall, I am definitely really positive about the game. It's just the game experience itself is just really simple. I think for non-Gundam fans, for example, just trying to try out like a new mech game, I think it should be a fairly easy experience for them as well. The UI itself, just the overall interface is fairly simple. I want to say there's a lot of a lot of complexity into it, so that's gonna be good. You can say that as poor designing or whatsoever, but at the end of the day, it's more gonna be more or less, can the user itself kind of get through the game really easy without being stress free. At the end of the day, I think that's gonna be really important. But that's gonna be pretty much it as for my pros and cons about the beta testing of the G generation. So you guys can definitely let me know what is your thought about the game, if you guys were able to get into the beta itself. But that is gonna be pretty much it for me, and then I'll be catching you all on the next one.